Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhani Yasodhanandana Bhajana Raja Yasodhanandana Bhajana Raja Yasodhanandana Bhajana Raja Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Bhagavad Gita Asura Siddhartha Sima's divine grace is confined to A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Bhagavad Gita Asura Siddhartha Sima's divine grace of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kahau Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Sri Gaura Bhakta Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Grivardhan Ke Jai Vrindavan Dham Ke Jai Mayapanava Dham Ke Jai Jagannath Dham Ke Jai Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya Ke Jai Samadhi Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ke Jai Sam Veda Bhakta Ke Jai Nitai Guru Prem. Our glory is to the sum devotees. Our glory is to the sum devotees. Our glory is to the sum devotees. Our glory is to the Gauranga Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottam Devim Saraswati Vyasa Tajo Jaya Madhivaya Nasta Praye Sabhadesu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati 9. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 4, Text 22. Title of this chapter is Sati quits her body. Text 22. Netina dehena hare krita gaso. Oh, it's up there, okay. Deho bhavinalam alankum jamana. Ridamama Bhutku Janapra Sangatas Tajan Madik Yuma Hatam Avadjakrit. Can someone try? Ladies, anyone to try? So word for word translation and translation of purports by His Divine Grace ISKCON from the Charter. Srila Bhashan Navindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you. Now, not etena, by this. Dehena, by the body. Hare, to Lord Shiva. Krita Agasaha, having committed offenses. Deha Udbhavena, produced from your body. Alamalam, enough. Kujamana, with a contemptible bed. Brida, shame. Mama, mine. Abut was. Kujana prasangataha, from a relationship with a bad person. Mahatam. What is it? Tajama. That bed. Dick. Shameful. Yaha. Who? Mahatam. All the great personalities about their creed of an offender. Translation. You are an offender at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. And unfortunately, I have a body produced from yours. I'm very much ashamed of our body relationship. I condemn myself because my body is contaminated by a relationship with a person who is an offender. At the lotus feet of the greatest personality. Please kindly respond. Repeat. You are an offender. At the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. Unfortunately, I have a body produced from yours. I'm very much ashamed of our body relationship. And I condemn myself because my body is contaminated by a relationship with a person who is an offender at the lotus feet of the greatest personality. Purport. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all devotees of Lord Vishnu. It is stated, Vaishnava Vana Yata Sambhu. Sambhu, Lord Shiva, is the greatest of all devotees of Lord Vishnu. In the previous verses, Sati has described that Lord Shiva is always in a transcendental position because he is situated in pure Vasudeva. Vasudeva is that state from which Krishna, Vasudeva, is born. So Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Lord Krishna. And Sati's behavior is exemplary because no one should tolerate blasphemy against Lord Vishnu or his devotee. Sati is aggrieved not for her personal association with Lord Shiva, but because her body is related with that of Daksha, who is an offender at Lord Shiva's lotus feet. She feels herself to be condemned because of the body given by her father, Daksha. Om Gyana Timirana Sa, Gyana Jana Salaka, Saksur Manitam, Yen Tismai, Si Guru Maha. The Chaitanya Vistam, Sakitam Yana Bhutale, Swayam Bhutam Kadamaya, Vedantisva, Vedantikam. Panchakalpatari Vyacha, Kudasam. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vista Bhutale, Smakati. To start. Pande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Samhodito Kudadaya Praspavantu Chivachantam. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadada Siva Sadi Gaura Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. So we continue to hear the scenario or the episode of Daksha offending Lord Shiva, which was very displeasing to any sane Vaishnava, any sane devotee. Doesn't want to tolerate abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, whatever abuse that is meted out to a devotee of Lord Krishna or blasphemy of the Lord himself. See, we say these things are blasphemy, but it has also legal implications. So what Daksha did was not only offensive, but it was also a criminal act. You know that? Okay, better know it. There's a term, that's what we call, in language, that's what we call euphemism. Euphemism means you use a particular word to a particular mild word or mild terminology to qualify a situation or a person, whatever, that a person hears it, it seems like, it's nothing, it's light. I'll give you an example. When Krishna was living, when Akura came to fetch Krishna and Balaram from Vrindavan to Mathura, so the gopis, brother Basis, we are very much in grave. So the gopis, they want to lie on the road. They crush us with your chariot if you're going. Crush us, let's die. Let's get out from these bodies. When Krishna did something, he said, it just one sentence. One sentence. That sentence was, don't worry, I'm going to pacify I'm going to pacify Kamsa. What does it mean to you? That is euphemism. Krishna also uses euphemisms. Quote something that is really harsh. He didn't say, I'm going to kill Kamsa. No, I'm going to pacify Kamsa. And the gopis, these are highly learned sages, highly learned personalities who had appeared as simple cowhead village girls. They understood. So they were, immediately, okay, gotcha. If you want me to teach you all these things, you have to be ready to pay me for the number of hours. Euphemisms. EUPHEMISM. Euphemism. So euphemism is very, people use it to, polish something that is really ugly. So in the scriptures also, sometimes you see some of the words are like euphemistic, So really something grave, but we use, very simple terms to make it like, say, religious stuff. But this is actually it's a criminal act. Like in America, if you go to insult somebody, they call the police for you. Isn't it? They call the police for you. Why? Because it's a crime. It's an assault. Yeah, so Sati didn't take it kindly, not because Lord Shiva is her husband, but the fact that Lord Shiva is what? The pure devotee, the greatest of all the devotees of Lord Vishnu. In India is a very common scenario. Majority of people, they understand, they have that conception that Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Yeah, so, it takes a lot of pious merit to come to that level of someone accepting Krishna's true Bhagavan Swayam and dedicating their lives to Krishna. Lord Brahma mentions that, it's like heaps and heaps of pious credit, krita punya punja. In describing how the cowherd boys were hanging out with Lord Krishna, some resting on his body. Lord Brahma was not amazed. He understood. He's the most intelligent person. So he mentioned that, yeah, because all these boys, they have performed heaps and heaps of austerities and acquired so much of pious merit in their spiritual bank account. That is why now they merit that opportunity to come and hang out with Lord Krishna, to come and play with him. Some resting on his legs, all this stuff. So Madhusati was really very upset with her father's behavior. Now, what does this tell us? A devotee should not have a favorite. Someone commits an offense, someone commits a crime, and you say, "Oh, he's my boy. Oh, she's my girl. Oh," that is on Vaishnava. Sati was angry, upset with her own father. And he said, "Oh, daddy, oh, daddy." She called it spade a spade. Yeah. But, it's not that if someone commits an aparat, that everyone is not going to take that straightforward chastisement. Everybody does not have that emotional courage to take straightforward chastisement. Some people, those who are dealing with team members and even parents, they have to understand their children and see which child absorbs. It's like a car. Some cars, the shock absorbers are not so good. Some are very good. You can go on a rough road, road full of potholes. Some you go through, you just get sick or you start vomiting. So the bottom line is that Sati is teaching us by her own example, and Prabhupada mentions in the purport how we should not tolerate blasphemous words being made out to a devotee of the Lord or to the Lord. In fact, the Manu Samhita prescribed a really heavy punishment for that. What did the Manu Samhita say? Is a cut off their tongue. But in Kali Yoga, you cannot cut off their tongue, so you take the option B. You either defeat the person, or option C, or you go away from that location so that you don't hear it. Because if you hear it and you don't do anything, what happens? You are culpable. You're culpable. You're an accomplice. The same thing like you see someone breaking the principles and you don't say anything, you don't bring it up, you don't make some effort to see that the person is rectified, you are culpable. You see, our lives in devotion, we are vulnerable. And sometimes we don't even know how vulnerable we are. We may be doing so powerful, and we get too humble that someone is passing urine here and we just pretend not to see. Because we are very humble. So Sati did not just pretend not to see what the father was doing. She was even very vehement. It's not that everybody is going to be vehement to someone who commits an opera. But the point is that something has to be done to rectify that person. We have situations where people have been in the movement for decades, and then they start complaining, oh, but I've been chanting Hare Krishna all these years. Why am I still having this and that and that, this and that? If you buy any electronic gadget, it comes with a manual. And in the manual, they tell you how to operate it. You may think you know everything, and you don't check the manual. And you start finding difficulties. And you start complaining. You call the the shop that, hey, the thing you sold to me is not working. All right, bring it back, return it. And then you drive to that place, you waste your gas, you waste your time, you drive to that place, only to discover that you didn't read the manual and you didn't see a simple instruction given in the manual. So we have a manual that is been given to us. The scriptures are like the manual, how to perform devotional service, even how to chant Hare Krishna. We've been given every day in most temples. I traveled around. I just came back from Europe to New York 3 days ago. I was in Germany, Switzerland, and France. But all these temples I went in the morning, they read the 10 offenses before chanting. 10 offenses to be avoided before chanting holiness. Why? To remind ourselves that these are the essential elements to use as tools in processing our chanting attempts to glorify Lord Krishna. And because when we do that, when we follow those instructions meticulously, we will have a change of heart. We will have purified consciousness. We will have, the very first symptom of someone, when we take to devotional service, we are initiated devotional or spiritual change in our lives. And believe it or not, when you initiate a change, there are over 65% of change initiatives fail. Over 65% of change initiatives fail. So don't be surprised someone complains, I've been chanting for 40 years and why is it that I'm not attaining ruchi? I'm not having a taste for it. Are you following meticulously the strategies for chanting the holiness? We read the strategies every morning. But then, sometimes we become like paratologists. We just recite the things and that's it. Like the ritual. So, we have to be conscientious when we are performing this devotional service so that that can help to expedite the purification process. And so that when we see something going wrong, we don't keep mute. Sati did not keep mute. Or even his father was the one who committed the offense. He didn't say, oh, Dad, you're great. He's just my husband, You're my dad. And you are really great. So each of these leelas, all these pastimes, have some immediate implications in our lives. And if we can understand the devotional implications of a number of these leelas, it will help us to speed up the process of our devotional culture. The essential point is that Sati did not just keep mute. Although the person who committed the offense was very close to him. It was her biological father. People protect their biological siblings, biological kids, biological parents. The protection that we seek for our families is the protection of the Lord from the emancipation of repeated birth and death. And therefore, we cultivate devotional service without any types of personal infringements on anyone's fundamental rights, fundamental devotional inheritance. And so it is important that we conduct ourselves in such ways that we don't develop a daksha mentality, daksha bhava. Daksha bhava, finding fault for the sake of finding fault, not for any. To find fault is fine. The human condition souls find fault. But to find fault for the sake of finding fault is just daksha bhava. That's all. It doesn't mean that, okay, someone is doing something wrong, and then we say, well, I don't have to say anything. Oh, I don't want to cultivate daksha bhava. So we have to have a balance in our lives. I remember one of the things that Bhakti Vasudeva Swami told me when he was living the planet. I remember I wasn't getting angry at the time, but I know that I have some predicaments. And the predicament is that if I get close to him at that time, I'm in trouble. He would just tell me, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. So I avoided him completely. Avoided him completely, for those periods. But then I got into trouble because the caretakers, they said, oh, the senior disciples, they must come and render personal service to Maharaja before he leaves. They came to meet me. I said, all right, I come watch his toilet. And in his toilet, you had to enter the sitting room, then into his room, toilet inside his room. You have to enter his room before you go to the toilet. So as soon as I entered the room, he said, oh, here comes him. He knew I was avoiding him. He said, oh, here, this is exact words he used. He said, oh, here comes him. I said, bombarded me. And I remember one of the things he mentioned, he said, Vasudeva, you've been keeping quiet for so many years. I am leaving. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Yeah, he told me that. Repeated it like 3 times. He said, if you see something wrong, say it. If they don't follow, you are free from the reactions. That's what he told me. He said, if you see something wrong, say it. If they don't follow what you said, you're free from the reactions. In other words, don't pretend to be humble. You see things going wrong, and you say, well, I'm a sadhu. I'm supposed to just not be affected by anything. Because he knows my nature. Yeah, but at some point in time, people were looking at me like, oh, Vasudeva, it's just so uncompromising. It's so difficult. So I also decided to play cool like some of the senior people. See, just keeping quiet, go about with my own business, go to my own. But he was watching, But for years, he didn't say anything. But when he was leaving, he brought it up. Yeah, so Sadi gives us a very good example. Someone does something wrong, we should see, at least proactively, we should see how we can help that person. When we don't make any effort to help to rectify the situation, we are unaccomplished. That is the law. Unaccomplished. We get some of the reactions. It's like you see someone going to rob, and you don't make effort to report that matter. In law, it's called unaccomplished. You saw the person. He's going to rob. You didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. He went out to kill some people, collect their money. You are humble. You are very humble. So even in law, it's like that. That's material law. And therefore, in our communities, we have to see, I was in Europe, and the same complaint I receive anywhere I go, how women are being abused in a movement, being sidelined, being pushed under the carpet. And yet we say, we are not these bodies. We preach it. We are not these bodies. Yeah. So these are grave issues. Prabhupada set a standard where if people are given equal opportunities to serve Krishna. As soon as Prabhupada left, we change everything. At least in most countries, especially in India, we change everything. Yeah. So a society that lives towards, or that gears effort towards sustainability, is pivoted by the principle of aligning with the founder Acharya's mission statement, goals, and vision. You don't need to create anything. If you just align with that, finish, you're good to go. You will excel like anything. But, most of us don't want that. We want to create our own systems, and then we don't want to recognize that the women are also human beings. Some of us think they are third class. Women say, no, married, no, we don't treat them like that. By our actions. I got reports. I just came back from Europe. Even in London, Germany, the other country I went. See, you see somebody you don't know. You just came to a temple and he gave classes for a few days and you come to make some report to him. He's serious. Yes, it's serious. It means it's in your bone, it's in your marrow. It's pinching you. Yeah, so we have to see how we are reconditioning our fallibilities and creating that fallibilistic flexibility to accommodate everybody and be able to address situations, to rectify situations, not as fault finders. Pandit Haridas, two Haridas or three Haridas. The Pandit Haridas in the Chaitanya Leela, he was very expert in finding good in people. finding good qualities in people. It doesn't mean that someone does something wrong. We don't try to help them by rectifying that error. So, Lord Shiva is a great devotee of the Lord. Every devotee who is endeavoring on this path in Krishna consciousness is a great devotee of the Lord. We should be valuable. We should help each other. Because collective efforts yields greater results than individual efforts put together. Collective efforts yield greater results, greater outcome, greater performance than individual results put together. That's the principle of, who knows that principle? What is the one word for that? Huh? Teamwork? That is two words. Teamwork is two words. What is one word for that? Cooperation? What? Who said? Who's that? Huh? Oh, synergy. Yeah, you're correct. ISKCON is founded on the basis of synergy. ISKCON, Hare Krishna movement, founded by Lord Chaitanya, is based on science. Prabhupada said this Hare Krishna movement Krishna teaches is science. But sometimes, people don't understand what Prabhupada is saying, but they just nod their head. Yes. I don't explain what he says. You have to explain what he says. They don't know. So Prabhupada, I heard him say a number of times, says this Krishna consciousness is science. Because it was founded on the basis of science coming together to chant. That is synergy. It produces greater results. Coming together to listen, to hear Krishna Katha. It reproduces greater spiritual devotional reinforcement for expedited purification than individuals just reading the Bhagavatam on their own. That is how it works. When people come together, there is spiritual reinforcement. And this helps us to be able to sustain our devotional impulses. So the Sangha is not just for fun. Coming to the classes is not just for fun. Coming to the programs is not just for fun. Because even just by coming to the temple, you get so much of reward. How is that? Again, it's science. It's based on the theory. This is even a theory called the field. The German psychologist Professor Lewin developed the field theory in 1938, which brings to bear that the environment impacts on behavior, impacts on our values. So the temple, this is where Vishnu, Lord Krishna, is being worshipped every moment, every day. That is the business here. They have businesses in the factories. They do different type of business. The business here is worship of Lord Vishnu. So the energies here, they're completely different from any other place. So don't say, well, I have deities at home. I'll just stay at home, do my puja, do my worship. No, that's true. That is a home, but the energies in the temple are different from what you're obtainable at home. All right, it's past 9 already. Any comments on this point? Daksha being chastised by the daughter for committing offense against Sambhu, Lord Shiva. Yes.
I have a question. So, you mentioned about when you see something going wrong, you have to speak up. But can you feel like if that devotee is associated with that thing, if the devotee is associated with that, the devotees who might be associated with such thing, they might be in a different way. They are part finding, or is it like we should address to the authorities, or is it can
Yeah. We don't like someone to correct us. We don't like authorities in our lives. Even a 2 years old doesn't want to be corrected. If you tell a 2 years old or 1 year, 6 months, they sit down there, Govinda. That's the time Govinda will get up. I want to show you that, hey, I'm not under your control. Yes, you're feeding me, but you are not under your control. I can do my stuff. So we exercise that control, self-will and power and control. So yeah, we don't want to be controlled. So if someone is if you have a good relationship with the person, you can talk with them. But otherwise, you can let the authorities know. Otherwise, you let the authorities know. Yeah. In most cases, we don't want anyone to tell us that we are wrong. Yeah. Otherwise, there's a lot of inquiry. Yeah. Otherwise, they will say, "Oh, Prabhu, what about you?" Yeah. But it's a way of helping ourselves to grow in devotional life, because except someone thinks that they are perfect. See, I tell my own disciples, my own mentees, that if I say something that hurts you, tell me. I remember one time I was going to one country, so at that time I had a secretary in New York, and a young girl. That time she was not even 20. So I put her also on the conversation list, that I was speaking with one professor about the program that she has to arrange when I come to their university and to their city outside of America. I don't remember what I said, but then this girl, she's a big author and a journal undergraduate journal editor. So then she said, I said something in the chat, okay? Then she wrote me, she inboxed me, sent me a private message that, Maharaja, what you said to that professor is wrong. You see, people think differently. We have different generations on the planet. We have the silent generation, we have the baby boomers, the what do you call it? Millennials, the Gen Z, and whatever. So they think the generations, they think differently. As for you to perfectly manage an organization, you have to understand the values and attitudes, the modus operandi and modus vivendi of these different generations. Otherwise, you will always fail in your management. You will always fail in leading that type of a group. So she inboxed me. So I said, so what is the best way to have written it? I asked her, this is someone under 20 years, under 20. So I asked, so what is the best way to have, put it to the professor? Then she wrote it to me. So then I sent the same message to the professor. I didn't say, well, look, I'm a doctor. Who are you? I'm a Swami. Who are you? Who are you to tell me that? Yeah, so we can always be helpful. If we expose ourselves, if we let people know that we are open to being helped, then they will approach us in that way. Any other comment or question? Yeah.
One part of it is correctly so. What I would like to say is, how can I cultivate that, it's a natural inclination that if it's the person who's cultivating it, I have a natural bond, I have a natural relationship that I accept it. But if there's someone else who is, I don't have a relationship, sometimes it's hard. How can I develop that from my end that I can receive it? One is giving, but on the receiving end, how can I receive it? That also is a relationship. How can I develop that?
Yeah. Now, I remember this brings to mind when I was doing my master's program. You see, some people say, devotees should not go to school, but I learned a lot from my material education. Okay, so I remember when I was doing my master's program, there was something we were learning about critical and creative thinking. And in that very course, one of the emphasis was on how to learn something from even the worst scenario. Any event, anything that transpires, you can always learn something from that. Instead of trying to kill yourself or trying to feel insulted or trying to feel that, oh, who are you to tell me this? Second, we should understand that we don't know everything. See, one I saw long time ago when I was really pretty younger, in my 20s. I saw something that a professor wrote. He was a reader at the time, and he wrote something in the journal on Hinduism. He wrote something very nice, but he said something that was also wrong. So when I saw it, immediately I went to the editor-in-chief of the journal. He has a PhD in English. He was the head of the department for English language in that federal university. So I want to meet him, and I showed to him that this professor, see, I'm a practitioner of Hinduism for this number of decades. This professor is wrong in what he said here. You know what he told me? This is the editor-in-chief of the journal. He said, boy, we are not perfect. Go and write a rejoinder. I will publish it. Let him see it. I was just satisfied with that. I didn't write the rejoinder. I was satisfied and surprised because here is a professor, PhD in English language. He is confessing, we don't know everything. We are open to corrections. Write a rejoinder. Now, how many of us stay in this movement for some few years and we don't think we know everything? In most cases, we think we know everything. Who are you to correct me? So, we should have what we call fallibilistic flexibility. Fallibilistic flexibility. We should understand we are fallible. We can make mistakes. We are not perfect. And we should create a room for corrections. And anyone can correct us. Even our own toddler can correct us. Even your toddler, your child, can help you to learn something. I have learned a lot from my own disciples, from my own mentees, from my friends. Learning is, look, in education, there is this slogan, learning is a lifelong process. Anybody who tells you he knows everything, please run away from that person. He or she is a cheat. I'm serious. If you say that out there, look, I have friends who even have 3 PhDs. They don't say that they know everything. Why? Because with your PhD, you may take a leaf, or a mango leaf, or a neem leaf, and make an experiment with that leaf, and write your dissertation of 500 pages, and get your PhD. But you know just that leaf, that neem leaf or mango leaf. It's not an iroko leaf. You don't know what is the content of the iroko leaf. You can't say you know everything. So if you understand in broad terms that our knowledge is limited, we should be open to learning. And even your own child, even you can learn from your own child. As soon as we have that conception that I have defaults, I am limited, I'm circumscribed, I don't know everything. Even Krishna, we don't know everything about Krishna. We just know small, just small. Krishna is unlimited, and we are very limited. How is the limited going to know the unlimited? Is it possible? So let's understand that we are specks, just little specks in the spectrum, unlimited spectrum. So we have this understanding, then we will have an open heart to be able to embrace corrections. And we'll be able to avoid that putting our ego before us and learn something from anybody. Another thing is that we should cultivate a sense of a psychology of adjustment. We should be adjusted. Majority of people, they have conflicts with other people because they are maladjusted. And I've seen so many devotees in ISKCON, they are maladjusted. I'm sorry to say this. I've seen it. Many devotees are highly adaptable, highly adjustable, but many are also maladjusted. My way or the highway. Yeah. If you want to live your life in such a way that you need harmony, even in a family, you need harmony, be adjusted. If you're not adjusted, for a family person, you can't belong with your spouse. No. In fact, adjustment is one of the ingredients in relationships. In any relationships you maintain it, if you don't have that psychological adjustment, it will not last. Because then you want a person to, this is how I want it to be done. This is how I want. This is how I want. This is how I want. And even if you're a team leader in ISKCON, oh, that is even worse because see, I was mentioning a little bit on some of these things in Germany, and you know the Swami who was there used to be my GBC. So after the class, he came to me one day and was asking me about some things, and so I explained to him, this is this, and for most people, they will not be that humble. He was my GBC. So we should be open to learn. We don't know everything. Anyone who claims that they know everything, we could as well try to avoid the person. All right, I think we'll stop here. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to participate in this class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Bhakti Vasudeva Swami ki jai.